What's that?
I took some medicine this morning, but
Me too.
that cracks me up.
Salutations. Can you please do that one?
Sure.
You did that for quizzes too. You're like
Is this something like
Yeah, on a letter, you have your salutation,
salute in French?
when you write a letter. It's a greeting. Andrew regularly began letters with the bizarre salutation, ahoy, ahoy. That is strange. It's a noun. It's how you start your letter, like, dear,
so-and-so.
fellow colleagues. Sometimes when I send out emails to other teachers, since they're all women, I'll say, hello ladies, or good morning ladies, something like that. That's my salutation. What's up? There's another salutation, right? That's a pretty easy one.
I just like the word.
I have
Okay. We have quite a bit to discuss.
Oh, just 6 and 7.
Excuse my voice, by the way. I'm just awful.
All right. Yesterday I assigned chapter 7, but if in our discussion you need to revert back to 6 or even 5, we can do that. So what's going on? Let me get my book.
I don't think we even discussed chapter 6.
I'm wondering if we,
I think
I
it'd be a
don't
really
think we
good thing to, though.
if we did, it wasn't very much. So we can certainly start at 6. So what's going on in 6? Would you like to start?
He had some confrontation with O'Brien.
Okay. And what was this confrontation about?
Well, it was mainly about O'Brien talking to him about his articles on Newspeak and saying that he's really interested and very educated in the subject of developing Newspeak or whatever. And then he's like, you should come to my apartment because I have this book on Newspeak and you'd probably like it. Okay, a dictionary. And he's like, okay. And that's it.
And we're like, okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
He said that like it's not usually common for people to know where other people live.
Mm.
So like for him to give him his address was really like bizarre.
How do you, what did you think of that?
I don't know a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you think we're approaching a time where, I mean, people don't want you to know where they live, or because they're in fear, right?
Well, on Facebook, a lot of people though put like their addresses in
Oh,
their cities.
One of my friends has her location as her address, and I'm like, you need to take that off of there.
Well, I mean, it's kind of
I
like.
don't even like having like my
Where
cell phone on
it's
there.
like,
Right, oh, I don't either.
People rob them.
I mean, it would be a great way for criminals to find you. And so, you know.
Especially if you're like, oh, I'm gonna be here at this time, or like, oh, so nobody's gonna be at your
Exactly.
house.
Or I always also think, you know, when you're away on vacation and you post vacation pictures from the vacation, do people think, oh, that means they're in Florida, no one's at their house now, I'm gonna go rob their house? Or do you wait till you get home to post those pictures, you know? Cause it says on there, 2 hours ago, you know, 45 minutes ago, whatever.
You can like have that like set to only your friends can see that.
Yeah. People need to really pay attention who's seeing what when you go into your settings, and you can mess with all of that, but, you know, I feel we are approaching a time with crime on the rise. I mean, we just had our 41st homicide yesterday, right in front of Southside High School, so, at 3:30 in the afternoon. So, someone was shot. Yeah.
My mom was a block away when it happened. She
What?
heard the gunshots, and then she cause she was carrying her mail, like the postal service,
Mhm.
and
That's her
then
route
she
over there.
yeah, it's kind of around there. And then she drove cause she parks her mail truck right by it, so then she got in and she drove by, and she saw the guy lying on the ground,
Yeah.
and the police hadn't even gotten there yet.
Yeah.
And there's someone on her phone. Scary.
One of the guys that Zoe works with, he also goes to Southside, and he said he was just leaving South when they were pulling a white sheet over the guy. So,
Do they know what, had happened?
they were still investigating, and I'm sure it was either drug or gang related. That's what's going on in the city right now. But it's
Or just
terrible.
around.
In broad daylight, I mean, it used to be.
Was it a Southside student?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, school had been out for an hour because they get out at 2:35. So, and you know, most of the kids walk home. So, I don't know. I didn't hear. I don't think so. But it's we're approaching, you know, it's a weird dichotomy. It seems like we're becoming more free as a society, but at the same time, with that freedom comes consequences or fear, right? And there was also a robbery out at DuPont and Coldwater at a Walgreens.
Like the Walgreens that's right by our old school?
It said DuPont and Coldwater, so I imagine it was right out there.
And that's usually supposed to be more of the wellness,
Well, it's yeah, I mean most of the time they
Oh,
have it
it's
all
more
the time,
than-
but
yeah.
still
It's
just
anywhere now.
But still.
like a
But the north side of town would probably say, oh, it's those south side people coming out here to rob us. I'm like, come on now.
My dad was like, cause they weren't home last weekend, he's like, make sure you set the alarm when you leave. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I can set the alarm when I leave. But I was never I was always the first one to leave, so
You didn't have to set it?
it was only me and my sister were there. And my sister freaks out when it comes to alarms setting in,
Right.
coming back in the house and it's going off and you have to turn it off.
Right.
And she freaks out, she's just I'm just not gonna leave. I'm like, okay,
It's a
I have to
prisoner in
leave
her own
'cause
home, yeah.
I have to go to dance and I have to do this and okay, you can just have a friend over and stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's like, make sure you set the alarm.
Yeah, I don't think it matters where you live, you can't be too careful, you know.
Because he said that there had been robberies in our little addition there, and I was like, really?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
I just remember wandering around here 10 years old, wandering around the
Well,
entire neighborhood.
If you were a criminal and you were a smart criminal, you would go where most of the money is, right? I mean, you wouldn't stay over on Creighton and Pontiac and expect to get anything. Usually when crimes are in those areas, it's drugs or gang related, but crimes out in Boyd or out north is, for some property or money, so, anyway.
Well, whenever I lived in Chestnut Hills, that's a really nice community.
Yes, it
but
is.
There were people were getting robbed.
Sure.
This lady had she was putting groceries away or something, and she had her garage door open, and her purse was just sitting on top of her car,
Mm-hmm,
and someone just took it,
mm-hmm,
and
yeah, yeah, it's
scary.
it's
It was in
everywhere.
our little newsletter.
And then it's kind of what you were saying, was usually things happened when it was nighttime, and now
Now
a lot of
it's-
things are just in the day.
That's right, yesterday we were talking about how students are becoming bolder in what they say to authority figures. It's even crime has become bold, it's broad daylight, but I'm gonna shoot you and get away with it.
But I think they're becoming
That's the
desperate
craziest thing.
because people want what they want and they don't wanna have to wait until like
Yeah.
2 in the morning.
Desperate or bold, what?
Well, the other thing, like, you know, because my mom said there were, like, kind of a lot of people around, so there were a bunch of kids, and, like, the fact that no one saw him.
Yeah.
Then it was also, like, what if someone did see him, but then if, like, you're the one that turns him in, they could
Snitches
come
get
after
stitches,
you.
yeah, that's the saying,
What is it?
snitches get stitches. So, a lot of people won't tell, and that's too bad, because if you ever see the news, you know, Crime Stoppers, they want you to call in your tips, you can do it anonymously, but people are just really afraid of the person finding out and retaliating against a family member or whatnot. So, for Winston to invite O'Brien over to his apartment, that's a big step, don't you think?
Well, and especially because like they were right in front of the telescreen,
Right.
purposely like right in front of it so you could like see what he was writing down
Mhm.
and stuff.
And wouldn't Winston be worried about what O'Brien might find in his apartment, or what he might see?
I thought they were going to O'Brien's party. Not Winston.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, we're going backwards, okay. But still,
Well, Brian was in his office building though, or not his office building, but
his
his
apartment building, right, right,
Which indicates that he knows where Winston lives.
right.
So, and then they're gonna go like to O'Brien's, which is another like uncommon thing, so that's like another reason for the government to be suspicious and
Right.
stuff.
Something out of the ordinary
Mhm.
makes them suspicious.
Like, why are they meeting?
Right. I would have students, you know, at Southside ask me, where do you live? And I'm like, why? Who wants to know? Is what I would say. And I would say, they would say, oh, I saw you out mowing your yard. And I'm like, okay, so, you know, I live on Fairfield. And they're like, well, you live on the rich end of Fairfield. And I'm like, there's a rich end of Fairfield? Seriously? Okay, so there must be. I mean, there's a safer end of Fairfield, I suppose, but it's just funny to hear their interpretation. Yeah.
Well, whenever I started working at the Y, this guy, he came off really nice, but he was looking for my address, and I don't know what happened to him. I don't see him around at the Y anymore, so I don't know if he was fired or something.
He was an
but-
employee?
But yeah, he was an employee, and he seemed really nice. Like, he was like, oh, you know, he introduced himself, and then someone told me, like, hey, by the way, so-and-so was looking for your address. I was like, excuse me? And like, the Y has that because they
Right.
need to. I'm an
Right.
employee there, and like, that's a little like scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Mm-hmm. And a lot of teachers don't have their phone numbers published. I mean, now with cell phones, it's just hard to find. But one time, my husband has a brother who's 15 years older than he is, and his name is Richard Breen, and they live in Ossian. And a student of mine called him, thinking that he was calling me, and it wasn't a nasty phone call. It was a kid who was worried about an assignment, and he wanted some more clarification about it. And so the next time I saw my brother-in-law, he's like, "You really got these kids worried about what their homework is," and we chuckled about that. But you know, it could have been totally the other way, right? Someone were really upset and found out where a relative lived, and that's, a lot of people fear that when they work for the law, right? Like, you've heard of judges getting murdered, or from people that they've put away, right? They finally get out of jail 20 years later and they hunt down the detective that put them away, or the judge who sentenced them for whatever, and it ends badly. But, so what else is happening? Back to Winston.
Chapter 6 was really
Him and Julia
Really short, yeah.
keep seeing each other and getting like deeper in like
More
rebellion
intimate.
and stuff.
Okay.
They had a really interesting conversation about like his mom, and like figured out he didn't murder her. So that's kind of a big thing, like for him. 'Cause he was like, but then he was like crying and like really wanted to talk about it, and she was not. She was just like,
Engaging.
yeah, she was just like.
And I think that is a big insight into her character and her motives. Do you think she's with him because she finds him interesting and wants a deep, meaningful relationship? No. So I think this is where Orwell gives the reader a clue that maybe she's not all she says she is, right? And you're starting to, if I hadn't told you what was how, or you hadn't seen that video, you might start to figure out that she's not who she says she is, right? So this conversation about his mom kind of makes him emotional.
And
Why?
that's, well, I just wanted to say something. That's the memory of when he steals the chocolate, which is one of the things you had on set.
Yes. Yes, so
Yeah.
that reaffirmed your answer and that fact that it wasn't in part one.
That's why I didn't know it.
I was like,
I was
wait
like-
a second, I don't remember this.
Yeah. I was looking over the quizzes, and I'm not gonna hand it back until Lauren takes hers. She's supposed to be back tomorrow, but, you guys, all of you got one right that wasn't even in part one.
Mhm.
It was the rebellion question. Why
Oh.
she was attracted to him.
I guess I could just assume that.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could assume that.
So I'm gonna keep
though.
that one on there, since everybody got it right.
But
there-
the chocolate, I didn't get that one right.
I totally did.
I
It's
said,
like, it's
yeah.
chocolate, I feel like it's chocolate.
Cause he, whenever they mentioned
It's
that,
kinda
like, the
forbidden.
chocolate ration or like.
I'll probably take that one off, or maybe use it as a bonus or something. And there is one more, I think, that
Yeah.
wasn't probably fair, so I apologize for that, but,
Yeah. so
We
the-
were- we were ahead, you know what I mean, in our discussion, and so, anyway. So, he gets emotional about his mom. Did he love his mom?
I think he looks back on it now and realizes that he does, but he regrets the fact that he couldn't have shown that when he was younger because he was really selfish and he like almost like abused and neglected his mother's care.
Took advantage of her?
Yeah, and I think he really regrets that now. I think that's why he's so emotional about it.
Okay. What else is happening? Anything? Anything on your study guide that you want to discuss? Is the study guide helpful to you? Good.
He kind of feels like remembering what it used to be like before the party that came over. I think he gets little glimpses of he remembers stuff.
Yeah. And that's hard. I've been in a position like that, as you guys have, you know. You've gotten 2 new teachers in 2 years, and that's changed your worlds here, right? And I know I keep talking about Southside, but it was such a big part of my life, but when I first started at Southside, it was wonderful. I was there for 5 years, and I would say 3 of those 5 years were incredible. And then, like, the new reign came, and those of us who'd been there had flashbacks of how it used to be, just like Winston is, you know. And you can't bring it back, you can't do anything about it. So you have to accept it. But then the new teachers, who the new principal hired, didn't know what it was like before, so they were just going along like, you know, they didn't have anything to remember. So anybody have a similar story you wanna?
Well, Lauren and I were talking about earlier about this school, how where we started, because like it was so small and like we had like ballet in the morning and like it was in the
We
midst
didn't
of
even have a
schedule.
cafeteria, and we had to eat lunch like with a chair, like kneeling and throw lunches
Oh,
on the
yeah.
chairs and like eat like that on the carpet.
Like it's crazy to see like where it came to now.
Yeah.
So many years.
And my sister, when she came here, before I even came, like the school used to start at like 9, and they wore like jeans and stuff, and like it's just crazy.
From like the other year locations there.
Do you
And
think,
we wore khakis the first year, like
Yeah.
Like purple.
I remember just like even shadowing, it was so much different than like even when I started coming to this.
have the
school.
changes been for the better?
I just feel like in a lot of ways we got a lot more strict. Cause like even with like ballet uniform, like we used, like the first year I came here, we were allowed to wear any purple, lavender, or white leotard, any kind. And then it changed like every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed everything.
But I just feel like at least with dress code, they've gotten a lot stricter.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Peach
kind of
leaf tarts.
understandable. I can understand that one.
But the peach leaf
Gross.
tarts,
It's
guys.
grown so much.
Those were
though.
just-
Like, I think it's been
I
like
couldn't handle that.
positive progression because like
I'm glad we got rid of the
Now.
khaki pants. That was those were
Yeah.
kind of awful.
I think it's just such a small group of us for such a long time. It was
Mhm.
like exact same people, like, cause then we didn't really have any like new people coming in or people leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we were, I don't wanna say a lot closer, cause everyone's here is still really close, but like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like, I feel like we have more freedom.
We definitely did.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
when you
but-
have smaller numbers, you can have more freedom. It's when you reach, when the masses, that it becomes less personal.
Weren't the older kids allowed to bring like their computers to school and stuff? I can't
I
remember.
don't think anyone had computers.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
or like a laptop or something.
One time we sold like energy drinks at the front desk. It's just like funny, like the things that we used to like
Yeah.
have. But
And how things
it was
have
funny.
changed
Now
and
it's like,
evolved
never.
and, yeah. And you can remember how it used to be, like you were saying in your neighborhood. You used to just run around your neighborhood and not think about,
I just walk
The
out
bad
my door
things,
and
right,
then
you
come
know.
back not a few days, a few hours later, I was like, where'd you go? I was at the front, and I like walked to the library,
but do you think, and I ask myself this all the time, do you think that it was always like this, but because you've gotten older, you know more about it? You know what I mean? Because when you're young, you're innocent, and you think the world is a safe place, and then the older you get, the more news you watch, and the more you know, and then you
But at the
become,
same time, I don't think my mom, and like, when I'm like 8 years old, me and a friend just like walked to like the library together. I don't think she would have just let that happen if
Right.
like she knew there was things
an
happening in the
dangerous armed criminal
yeah.
area, right, I agree, yeah, Lauren.
I do think people are becoming more desperate now because of the economy. So
Yeah.
like single or like drugs have been coming
Yes,
more, I don't know, just like
prevalent, yes.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, in Maine,
Yeah.
Portland, Maine, they
they
made marijuana legal.
They did?
Oh,
You
yeah.
weren't in here.
Oh, yeah, you were in here.
Yeah,
She told us
Why
this.
would they do that?
Olivia.
well, like my daughter says, make it legal, but tax the crap out of it.
I mean, I can like understand because people aren't listening anyway.
Right,
So then that's just, it's because I think like the government is like, okay, we're saying they can't do it, but they're doing it anyway, so it's like looking bad on them. And so, and then another.
it's like a
thing-
parent who says, go,
Yeah.
no, and your kids do it anyway.
Yep. And so it's like, okay, and it has been studied that like when you get something taken away and you say, they like say you can't have it, you want it more.
Mhm.
So I think they're trying to do like a reverse of that.
You know, it's gonna put a lot of people out of business, like drug dealers,
Reverse
Seriously,
psychology.
making it legal, which is very interesting to me.
But that's
Don't
good.
they still have
Yes.
to buy it though?
What?
Don't they still have to buy it?
Yeah, but it's gonna be like available at like
Yeah.
stores.
But it
What
won't
is
be,
it?
you won't have to meet someone at the park and exchange paper bags, right? It'll be like on the up and up. But I still think some people will be embarrassed or like instead of going up to your friend and whispering in their ear, you got your stash or whatever lingo they use, you can just come out and say it. Would you feel comfortable? But like I said, I've never smoked pot in my life.
Well, maybe it's kind of like, I don't know, because I keep thinking about like, I think about cigarettes,
Yeah,
and I know that a lot of people like try and hide it.
Yeah.
Because it's looked down upon.
right.
But they still do it.
Mhm.
So even though it's like, yeah, you can come out and say like, yeah, I smoke cigarettes, you kind of want to keep it secret anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it would be like the same situation with marijuana being legalized.
Do you think it's going to make it so common that people won't, you think marijuana use will go down because it's legal, or?
Well, that's kind of where I was gonna go. Well, I think that some teenagers like do think it's like cool and they're like being like rebellious and like part of like the cool group. They're doing the things that you're not supposed to. So maybe now they'll be like, oh well, this isn't cool anymore. I don't know. Like
Mhm.
hopefully. Maybe.
So will it force people to move on to harsher drugs? You know what I mean, Olivia?
When we went to Amsterdam,
Oh, yes.
it's such a pretty city, but then it smells like pot, like
Yeah.
all the time, and it just like made me not like it there, even
Yeah.
though it was so pretty.
Yes, I
So
had several
it-
students at
yeah.
Southside who wanted to go to Amsterdam, and they thought I didn't know what they were talking about. And I'm like, no, I know why you wanna go there, it's not for the architecture, it's because it's legal in
Which
the
is
country.
sad, because if you do wanna go there for the architecture, there could be someone's like, oh, you're just going there for the weed.
And you know, marijuana in a lot of places has been legal for a few years for medicinal uses. It's supposed to be a really good medicine for glaucoma, which is a disease of the eyes. And it's supposed to be a pain reliever for people who are like dying, like of cancer and
Or chronic pain.
chronic pain. It's supposed to help you, and your doctor, depending on what state you live in, can write you a prescription for it, right? But that's for medical reasons, not just because you and your buddies want to sit around and you know, not like that. I'm on tape doing that, that's great. But Holly,
Reminds me of like the 70s show, but
yeah.
I went
I
to
love that
Haight
show.
Ashbury
Oh yes.
and in San Francisco, and like it's a very hippie dippy,
Yes, it is.
flower child town. And like it was starting to get dark and people were coming out that you did not necessarily want to beat you around.
Right.
And like, hey, like they would open their like jacket
Right.
pockets and we were just like, no thank you, and we like
And you know, the
Tried to leave,
70s
but-
pothead is a very peaceful person, right? Anti-war, Grateful Dead followers, you know, hippies, right? And then it's changed, you know, with each generation. It's become more dangerous, it's become more of a business, right? And so a lot of cities are legalizing it. I don't know that Indiana's the last to do anything. We still can't run alcohol on Sunday, so
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
see us legalizing marijuana, but, that was very interesting. My niece lives in Portland, Maine, so I'm curious to see her thoughts. But anyway, anything else happening in 6 and 7 that you wanted to mention? Right.
Winston kinda like, since he's not like really talking, like Julia's not like engaging in conversation, so he kinda like thinks on his own, and then he thinks about the proles, and he's like, he starts getting this different aspect of them because he's like, they're still human. They still have, he like realizes that they still have care for each other, and like, it's not that they're like trying to go for what's good for the government, but for themselves, and they still care about each other. So he's like, the proles, you know, they're human, and he's like, we aren't human, and so then that's when Julia wakes up, and she's like, well, why is that? And then he starts talking about how what they're doing can't